So first slide, I will give you the overall, outline of governance and management of IT. So what is governance? A very simple definition of IT governance is a set of rules and process. Fine. In simple layman terms, what is IT governance? Is the process used to monitor and control IT activities. So to give you outline of domain 2, which is in CISA certification. CISA stands for Certified Information Systems Auditor. We have ITA. Part A is IT governance and part B is IT management. So under part A, we have laws, regulations and industry standards. Everyone knows what is a law means, which is collection of rules and regulations that are required and must be followed. The second topic is organizational structure, IT governance, and IT strategy. Organizational structure is the way in which the organization is structured by hierarchy. Governance, we saw what is IT governance in simple words, process used to monitor and control IT activities. The third section in part A is enterprise architecture and its considerations. So what is an enterprise architecture? It's an say very simple diagram which denotes where what is the current state of an organization and where it aspires to go, desired future state. Enterprise risk management. So and when I say enterprise, it's organization as a whole. Okay, complete organization. And what is risk management? Risk basically means any uncertain event, or in simple words, something bad might happen. So when I say risk management, we have to risk is there everywhere. We have to manage the risk and bring down the risk to an acceptable level. Please be informed that risk in any organization can be controlled but cannot be eliminated. Fine. The next topic under this part is privacy program and principles. Privacy is something, a data which relates to an individual, okay, a person. The next topic under this part is data governance and classification. How you govern, how you monitor your data, and how you classify the data. Now, what is a data classification? So, data classification is something you have to classify whether it's data is highly confidential, it's public, private, and so on. Why the classification is required? So if you classify the data in an appropriate manner, you can protect based on the classification. For the data which is classified as highly confidential, it needs to be protected accordingly, and so on. This is all a quick overview about part A, IT governance. Now part B, IT management, we have something, IT resource management. Now when I say IT resource management, resource, it doesn't mean only to human resource. All the resources that are required to run an information technology. IT vendor management. Now, this part of the world, we have, there is a dependency on vendors. Now, the functions that are assigned to vendors are those which are routine in nature, so that organization can focus on their core expertise. The third is IT performance monitoring and reporting. It's always a must to monitor our performance and report it. Why? Unless we monitor our performance, we are not going to judge ourselves where are we and what improvements we need to do. The last topic in part B, IT management, is quality assurance and quality management. Now, what is quality assurance? It's assuring that the service will be delivered as per the quality. So in simple words, what is quality assurance? Is a method to ensure that the final product or service has no flaws or inconsistencies. And what is quality management? Is overall management of the quality, how you manage it. Right. So this was all about domain to outline, part A, IT governance, part B, IT management. Now if you relate the two parts, part A and part B, okay, you see, first you focus on the things which comes under governance, which are this 1 2 3 4 5 6, and based on that governance. Now as I said, what is governance? And simple rules is the way, is the process used to monitor and control IT activities, right? Now you have defined the process here in part A, and then you'll use that to manage your IT. So under IT management, these are the four topics. Well, let's move to the next slide, which is some nice pics about governance. Now, as I told you, what is governance in very layman terms? It's a way, is a set of rules used to monitor the IT. When I say IT governance, it means is the process used to monitor and control IT activities. Now I will show you quick two pictures. Governance is all about vision, mission, responsibilities, decision making, and all. And for an effective governance, a very must requirement is effective communication, okay, effective collaboration, effective stakeholder engagement. Now, when I say stakeholder, each and stakeholder means each and every single individual who is related in some way to a project or organization. Stakeholders are internal, external. Internal means which belong to organization, external vendors and third party suppliers. Okay, now the next slide, let's understand IT governance. Okay. Now, IT governance is a process to monitor and control key information technology decisions to ensure the delivery of value to key stakeholders in an organization. When I say key stakeholders, means the main stakeholders. Now, again, stakeholder means any individual who is directly, indirectly related to a project or to the organizations. It can be internal, it can be external. So basically, IT governance is a broad concept that is centered on the IT department delivering business value. Now, when I say business value, what does it mean? Business value, in simple words, net benefit realized by customers. That's a value. You have to deliver something. Again, in very layman terms, business value, net benefit realized by customers. So governance, in simple words, it is a set of rules, regulations, and policies that define and ensure the effective, controlled, and valuable operation of an IT department. Rules, the set of rules, regulations, which are now, for example, regulations. Now, any bank in any country is regulated by the central bank. So there needs to be some sort of regulations to ensure that proper governance is in place and policies. Policies are the intent of senior management. Fine. So it provides governance the methods to identify and evaluate the performance of IT and how IT relates to business growth. Remember one thing, IT has to be always in alignment with business. IT has to be always in synchronization with business. If IT goes in this direction, north, and business goes in south, it will be a chaos. IT governance uses, manages, and optimizes the IT in such a way that it supports, complements, or enables an organization to achieve its goals and objectives. So, if IT is in sync with business, okay, so then only it will be possible to deliver the business goals. Okay, IT as an enabler for business. There is something called as a risk management program. So what is a risk management program? So risk, when you say a risk, simple definition of risk is something bad can happen, or unforeseen, in very simple words you can say circumstances might happen. And risk management program ensure that the risk is in a controlled manner. The risk the organization might face or is facing is brought down to an acceptable level. Okay. So what does a risk management program ensures? It ensures organizations to identify, analyze, evaluate, assess, and respond to those threats that pose the greatest risk being faced. Let me take a minute and explain you quickly what is a risk. So a risk, to calculate risk is a very simple formula, P into I. P stands for probability or likelihood. I stands for impact. Now, when I say P, probability or likelihood or chances, and impact as consequences, very Very basic but very core terms here are vulnerability and threats, right? You cannot just say, go to the management and say, okay, I have 10 risk manage. You have to present it in such a way that you have properly identified the risk. Now identification, how it begins with the risk scenarios. So when you say there might be a risk with the server, core server, for example, in which antivirus is not updated, so what are the likelihood, that vulnerability stand means weakness, and threat if that weakness is exploited. So what is the probability of the weakness being exploited, and into impact consequences. So simple formula to calculate risk is probability into impact. So next about risk is why we need a risk management to prioritize the limited resources. Now in your organization you identified, let's say there are you did a risk assessment, okay, and you identified there are 20 risk, and risk is identified for an asset. When I say asset, it means anything that is valuable to an organization. It can be tangible, it can be intangible. Example of tangible asset is the server. Intangible is the reputational. So if there is a reputational impact, it will be intangible, the impact will be very high. So why we do risk, why we need to do risk management? The reason is to prioritize the limited resources. Now in real life, daily we have some tasks to do, let's say 10 tasks. So when you note down the task, you first prioritize, I need to do this task first. For example, your task is to finalize a presentation to the meeting which is at 2 p.m. with board of directors. So you will prioritize that first. Next is meeting with internal teams. You will prepare for that meeting after you finalize the task which is you are presenting something to the board of directors. So you will see the importance, which comes first, which comes second, which comes third. Why? To prioritize the limited resources. So risk management program ensures to prioritize the limited resources, realize benefits, and ultimately deliver value to stakeholders. Risk management bridges the requirements for performance and conformance. Conformance means confirmed, adhere, and establishes sound governance principles and practices. Now let's see in the next slide, we'll see what are the primary goals of IT governance. Okay, the first is to assure the use of information and technology generates business value. We saw what is a business value, a very simple term, in very layman terms, what is the business value? It's delivering some, I mean, the net benefit realized by the customers is delivering some value to the organization. Okay. Second, mitigating the risk associated with using information and technology. Now, if when I say mitigating, means take some actions, some response to address the risk. The third one is oversee management's performance. So the performance, unless you oversee or monitor the performance, how you will come to know what improvements are required. So very interesting slide. The next one. What are the questions that must be answered through governance? The first is, are we doing the right thing? There are 4 R's. Please focus. There are 4 R's that answer governance. Second one, are we doing them in a right way? The third, are we getting them done well? And final, the fourth, are we getting the expected benefits? So let me take few minutes here and share my knowledge. So the key areas where IT governance provides answers are: one is strategic alignment, second is risk management, third is performance management, and finally resource management. We saw what is resource management. So questions answered to governance again: are we doing the right things? Are we doing them in a right way? Are we getting them done well? And are we getting the expected benefits? Fine. Next slide we'll see is something called as enterprise governance of IT, that is EGIT. So what is EGIT? EGIT is a process used to monitor and control IT activities. Governance, remember, is all about monitoring and control. You monitor, you identify something, and if you identify something that needs to be addressed, it has to be addressed, controlled. Okay. IT governance ensures that information technology provides added value to business processes and also that IT risks are appropriately addressed. We saw what is a risk. Risk is to calculate risk, use the formula probability into impact. Okay. And that under probability, we have vulnerability and threats. Weakness and threat means if that weakness is exploited. Fine. What is the purpose of EGIT? The purpose of EGIT is to ensure that IT activities are aligned with business objectives. IT must be always aligned with business. IT must be always in synchronization with business. So here, as a governance, those who are leading IT, they need to always discuss with business about various aspects, right? Then only that means they need to have very effective collaboration, effective communication with business. So what is the benefit of alignment? The benefit of alignment of IT and business leads to achievement of business value. Who is responsible for enterprise governance of IT? The board of directors, they are primarily responsible for EGIT. Let me show you some very nice and interesting picture on how, what is the simple, uh, way to know what is equal to EGIT, that is enterprise governance of IT. So IT risk management. Risk management is a process which is used to analyze, okay, identify, analyze, evaluate, and select the risk response option, and to bring the risk under control. Again, the risk can be controlled, but risk cannot be eliminated. So IT risk management plus IT alignment with business plus derive value from IT investment, that is equal to EGIT. It's a very simple way to visualize what is EGIT. The next slide we'll see what is the difference between governance and management. So let's go. Organizational governance and management. So what is governance all about? Governance is about evaluating, direct monitoring and control and enterprise. So about management, management is about focus on planning, building, running and monitoring. Organizational governance enable enterprise to create value for their stakeholders or promote the creation of value. Now, stakeholders in any individual which is related to the organization, it can be internal, the staff, it can be external, which is vendor or third party suppliers. Management ensure alignment with defined goals and objectives established by the governing body. Enterprise ensure enterprise strategic vision achievement as directed by the governing body. Now, what does organizational governance includes? And it includes various aspects like financial accountability and oversight, operational effectiveness, legal and regulatory compliance, adoption of fair labor practices, social responsibility, governance of IT investment operations, and control. So at a high level, this was a difference between what is organizational governance and what is management. So next slide, we are going to see an overview about governance structures and roles. So let's see overview. Fine. So in today's world, IT governance is extremely crucial to ensure the technology investment align with business goals, optimize resources and manage risk appropriately. How? There is something called as frameworks, IT governance frameworks. We have one slide for that. We'll go through what is a framework, is a baseline and a structure. IT governance frameworks provide structured methodologies to achieve these objectives, ensuring IT supports and extends the organization's strategies and objectives. Now let's talk something about IT governance framework. Okay, so what is an IT governance framework? Framework is a comprehensive structure that provides organizations with a systematic approach to managing and overseeing their IT resources and processes. So it incorporates the framework, an IT governance model which outlines the policies, standards, and procedures necessary to align IT strategy with business goals. Remember, IT should be always in alignment with business. Now, let me take 1 minute and talk what is a policy, standards, and procedure. So, policy is something by an intent by the management. For example, incident management policy, change management policy. So if I talk about incident management policy, the statement policy statements will say all priority one incidents must be resolved in 30 minutes from the date and time of occurrence. How you do it, there's a detailed steps which is known as procedures, and standards are mandatory requirements. So friends, it's very essential to know what is the difference between policy, procedures, standards, and guidelines. So policy is something intent by the management, intent of management. Standards are mandatory requirements. If I say my organization is ISO 27001 certified, that means there are some mandatory requirements that I must ensure that they are implemented and they are followed as a practice. Procedure, detailed steps of what is mentioned in the policies. Very basic, but very important to know the difference. Okay. So the third, this framework ensures that IT investments support organizational objectives. What is the how much investment your IT has made and whether it supports the objectives, optimize resource use and mitigate risk effectively. By establishing clear roles, responsibilities, and performance metrics is something used to measure. Okay, an IT governance framework helps maintain control, enhance accountability, and promote continuous improvement within the IT environment. So IT governance frameworks provides a blueprint for decision making, ensuring that all IT related activities are consistent with the organization vision and strategic direction. So everywhere, governance, you will see IT in alignment with business. Okay, IT should always be in synchronization with business. Now in the next slide, we'll see some of the very widely used frameworks. The first is COBIT, that is Control Objectives for Information and Related Technologies. So it's developed by ISACA, one of the most widely recognized IT governance framework. So basically, COBIT provides comprehensive framework that assists enterprise in achieving their objectives for the governance and management of enterprise IT. So this framework is designed to be business focused, enabling organizations to balance risk and reward and optimize the cost and benefits of IT. Risk and reward always go hand in hand. You cannot say there is no risk, but I want reward. It will never happen. The real example, real life example of risk and reward is when you invest in, mutual funds, right? So you see, if I invest in this mutual funds, what is the risk I take and what is the reward in turn for that risk? Always remember if you want the highest, the higher reward, it will have more risk. So risk and reward always go hand in hand. So COVID is structured around five key principles, which are meeting stakeholder needs, covering the enterprise end to end, applying single integrated framework, enabling a holistic approach, and separating governance from management. The next framework we are going to see is ITIL. It stands for Information Technology Infrastructure Library. So it was developed by Excelos. And what is ITIL? It is a set of practices for IT service management, ITSM, that focuses mainly on aligning IT services with business needs. Everywhere you will see IT alignment with business needs. Again, IT should be always aligned with business. So ITIL provides detailed processes, procedures, tasks, and checklists that are not organization specific but can be applied by an organization to establish integration with the organization's strategy. Whatever process you developed, okay, they, by an organization, it should be establishing integration with the organized strategy, thus delivering value and maintaining a minimum level of competency. So ITIL is divided into 5 core publications, each covering different stages of the IT service lifecycle. So service strategy, service design, transition, operation, and CSI, that is continuous service improvement. So this was, if anyone has done ITIL version 3, so ITIL version 3 mainly spoke about these 5 sections, which is service strategy, service design, service transition, service operation, and continuous service improvement. ITIL 4, the latest version, emphasizes the importance of flexibility, collaboration, and innovation. So this has been, the concept has been added in ITIL version 4. Next a framework we are going to quickly review is TOGAF. So it stands for the Open Group Architecture Framework. Okay, so this was developed by the Open Group, the framework that provides an approach for designing, planning, implementing, and governing enterprise information architecture. So basically, TOGAF helps organization to design a tailored IT architecture that aligns with business goals and objectives. This is based on architecture development method, that is ADM, which is step-by-step approach to develop an enterprise architecture. So that is preliminary phase architecture vision, business architecture, information system architectures, and technology architecture. So TOGAF provides tools and templates to support the implementation of governance of enterprise architecture, ensuring alignment with business strategy. Everywhere you will see alignment of IT with business, alignment of IT with business. Fine. So we'll see quickly some of the governance structures, rules, and responsibilities. So there is board of directors. Okay, corporate governance is mainly the responsibility of the board of directors. Second one, strategic committee, which advises the board on IT initiatives. IT steering committee. Now, when I say committee, it's a group of people. Okay, so IT steering committee ensures that IS, Information System Department, is in line with the goals and priorities of the organization. Always remember one thing: IT, unless IT is properly aligned with business, the goals will not be achieved. Okay, IT steering committee must determine whether IT processes support business requirements, and it monitors and encourages the implementation of IT services in support of business plans for specific projects. There is something called as project steering committee. This committee consists of a senior representative who will be affected by the new system, provides feedback and monitors cost and timetables for projects. Now, what is a project? Project is something which has a start date and end date. If you are doing any certification, if you are doing any course, it has a definite start date, and it has to have an end date. So project steering committee is responsible for all project cost schedules. They ensure the project's progress, escalates issues or highlights issues that may impact the expected outcomes. And finally, the project uh, sponsor is the person responsible for business function and provides function requirements to functional users. So next slide is very interesting. We have a very nice picture that will make you quickly visualize levels of management and IT governance practices. So you can see here IT strategic committee. So governance, the level is board and executive management. IT steering committee is a management level, which is senior level and middle management. Operational activities, operational, which is lower management and administration. Now, if you see at the governance level, IT oversight responsibility, enact IT policy, accountability for IT. So accountability ultimately lies with senior management, strategic planning, and resource allocation. So at steering committee level, which is management, IT project planning and implementation, policy enforcement, responsible for IT and resource utilization. At operational level, execution of technical, administrative guidelines and procedures. Very nice picture. So IT strategy committee advises board on IT strategy. Board of directors take decisions on the basis of the advice from the IT strategy committee, instructs the IT steering committee to carry out implementation, and IT steering committee responsible for implementation and monitoring. Okay. IT management and its functionality. So what is IT management and its functionality? So IT management plans, builds, runs and monitors activities in, again, this word alignment you will see everywhere, in alignment with the direction set by the governance body to achieve enterprise objectives. Enterprise means organization as a whole. IT management ensures that IT continues to support enterprise objectives. It includes resource management, service provider acquisition and management, performance monitoring and reporting, quality assurance and quality management. So quality assurance is something you assure that product meets the standards, and quality management is something management of quality as overall, as a whole. So next we'll continue IT management and its functionality. So one of the important part of IT governance is ensuring the IT resources are used to their full potential. The resource deployed should be focused on achieving business objectives. Okay. Now this is further divided into three sections. The first is human resource management. This involves handling IT engaged workers. Second is IT management. This covers performance management of IT. And third, financial management. This involves the monitoring of expenditure and other IT related financial aspects. Okay. Next slide, very interesting. We'll see risk management in IT governance. We saw quickly what is definition of risk in very layman terms. So IT governance, we saw it encompasses the framework, processes, and structures that ensure IT systems and resources are managed effectively, aligned with business objective, and deliver value. Okay. An example, organization aiming to provide secure and seamless IT services. So in this case, IT governance here involves making strategic decisions about technology investments. This is an example of IT governance, an organization which aims to provide secure and seamless IT services. So in this case, IT governance involves making strategic decisions about technology investments, selecting and integrating a robust IT service management platform, ensuring data security. It also includes establishing policies and procedures for monitoring IT service performance, addressing issues promptly, and making adjustments accordingly. Risk management. Risk management is the process of identifying, assessing, and prioritizing potential risk, followed by actions to minimize their impact. Why it is important to prioritize? To ensure that resources are allocated accordingly. Likewise, in our daily life, we prioritize our work. We give the priority. Now, today I have 10 tasks to do. It has to have priority. I cannot say all the 10 tasks are priority one. Unless you prioritize them, priority one, priority two, priority three, you cannot manage it effectively. So what does it mean? It means investing in strong security measures, creating backup and recovery plans, and regularly updating systems to protect assets against unforeseen situations. That is about risk management. So risk management is about not being reactive, it is being proactive. So risk management is about being proactive in handling uncertainties that could impact organizational goals. Let me take another minute here. You have very well set up IT operations. You have very sophisticated technology, excellent. But can you assume that all this work fine forever? Never. You have to be proactive. You have to always be prepared. What could happen if this risk scenario happens? In case it happens, what is the probability and what will be the impact? If that risk scenario is realized, what risk response measures I need to take? So this all needs to be planned accordingly. You cannot just depend, that assuming that everything will go smooth. Let's see what is the relationship between IT governance and risk management. So IT governance and risk management are interrelated. What is a governance? Governance sets the strategic direction and framework for using technology within the organization. What is risk management? Risk management focuses on identifying and mitigating potential threats within the framework. When I say threats, we saw risk is equal to P into I, which is probability into impact. What does probability or likelihood has? Vulnerabilities and threats. Vulnerabilities meaning weakness, threats if that weakness is being exploited. Okay. Now let's take one very good example of implementation of online banking system. IT governance would involve, in this case, example of implementation of online banking system. IT governance would involve strategic technology decisions and policy development to manage the system efficiently. Now, what will risk management involve here? Risk management would identify potential risks such as security breaches or system downtime and implement measures to minimize their impact. Next slide, we'll see strategic alignment of IT and business objectives. So as we already discussed, the importance of alignment of IT with business objective is very critical for organizational success. Okay, what does the alignment ensures? The alignment ensures that IT investments support the overall strategy and goals of the business objectives, enhancing efficiency, competitiveness, and innovation. Okay. What's the importance of IT and business alignment? Why IT? What is the advantage or benefit if IT is aligned with business? There are three we list here: strategic, operational, innovation, and agility. Under strategic advantage, okay, IT with business objective provides a strategic advantage by ensuring the technology investments are and initiatives support company's mission and strategic goals. What this is strategic long-term advantage. Okay, this alignment helps in leveraging IT as a tool for competitive differentiation and market leadership. Definitely, there are competitors in the market. So, what advantage you have? A strategic advantage, long-term advantage. Second is importance of IT business alignment is operational efficiency. So, when IT is aligned with business process objectives, it enhances operational efficiency. Integrated IT system, what is the main benefit? They streamline the workflows or fine tune, reduce redundancy or a single point of failure, and improve data accuracy. Your data must be accurate. The more accurate your data is, the more effective your reporting will be, thus leading to cost savings and better resources utilization. Now under innovation and agility, so if IT is aligned with business, okay, it it will be more agile and innovative. Agile means ability to move more quickly, and innovations. Definitely in today's world, what will differentiate you from other competitors? The way you are able to move quickly as per the market, and what are your innovations, ideas. Okay, so innovation and agility facilitates the quick adoption of new technologies and methodologies, which can drive innovation, allowing business to respond quickly to market changes, which is very, very important. So let's visualize something about strategic alignment of IT business objectives in the next slide. So business strategy drives business policies and procedures, drives IT strategy, drives IT infrastructure, that drives IT strategy enables business strategy. IT infrastructure supports business policies and procedures. So this was, a pictorial representation of strategic alignment of IT and business objectives. So in the next slide, we are going to have key elements of IT business objectives. One is business IT communication. Always remember, IT needs to be very effective communicator with business and vice versa. Communication is very important. Why? IT should understand what are the business needs. Then only they will be able to sync with the business. Another is shared goals and objectives. So both IT and business units should have shared goals. Okay. What is the benefit? This shared vision fosters collaboration and ensures that both sides are working towards common outcome. And what is the common outcome? The goal of the organization. What is the objective? Governance and leadership. Strong governance frameworks and leadership are essential for alignment. See, this word you will find it everywhere alignment. Okay, you should be in sync. So this includes having clear decision making process, accountability structures and leadership, and thus that promotes a culture of collaboration and mutual respect between IT and business units. Technology roadmap. Now, what is a roadmap? There is something, a well-defined technology roadmap that aligns with business strategy helps to prioritize IT projects and investment. So what does it ensures? It ensures that IT initiatives are not only aligned with the current business needs, but are also flexible enough to adapt to future changes. Be focused, very interesting. Now let's see some of the case studies and real world examples. Just give me a second. Okay. Now you see three columns here: industry, business goal, and IT governance example. Okay. So let's consider one scenario, one case study of a healthcare. And the healthcare, the business of that healthcare is ensure data security and compliance. So what will be the IT governance example? Cleveland Clinic established a governance framework. We are talking about healthcare, okay? Let me enable my pen. Healthcare. So Cleveland Clinic established a governance framework to monitor and ensure compliance with HIPAA and other regulations, safeguarding patient information through regular audits and risk assessment. Now, HIPAA is what is the full form? Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. So, which is U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and that focuses more on protection of personal data. Let's consider another case study of financial services. Business goal of financial services: strengthen information security. So what will be the example of IT governance? Bank of America. Okay, let me enable the pointer again. Bank of America employed a robust governance framework emphasizing cybersecurity and data protection, including regular security assessments and policy enforcement. Third industry will take a case study as manufacturing. Business goal of manufacturing industries: enhance IT security posture. Live example is Toyota. Everyone knows what is a Toyota, is a car manufacturing company. Toyota enforced stringent governance policies and protocols to boost IT security and protect intellectual property and sensitive data. Let's continue with some more case studies. And business goals, that is enhance in industry retail, the business goal is enhance cybersecurity. IT governance example is Amazon implemented governance policies focusing on cybersecurity to protect customer data and maintain trust. We will take another industry, education. Business goal of education industry is to secure sensitive information. IT governance example: Harvard University adopted governance policies and protocols to secure sensitive academic and personal information. We'll continue with one more case study of education. Standardized IT service delivery. So Stanford University implemented standardized IT service delivery models to enhance service quality and user satisfaction. So these are some case studies and real world examples we saw across, which is retail, education, financial services, healthcare, and manufacturing. Okay. Now let's conclude what we saw till now. IT strategy must be aligned with organization strategies and objectives. You will see this word alignment. It has a big significance. Periodic review of information systems and enterprise architecture. Enterprise architecture is something, a very simple diagram that shows where is your current organization at the moment, what is the current status, and what is the desired status, and what needs in terms of technology to achieve that desired status must be conducted. Organizations IT policies and practices must be in compliance, adherence with regulatory and legal requirements. Data governance policies and practices to be evaluated on periodic basis. IT resource management must be aligned with organization strategies and objectives. Aligned. Potential opportunities and threats associated with emerging technologies, regulations, and industry practices must be evaluated on periodic basis. IT service management practices must be aligned with business requirements. So what is the conclusion? What we saw till now here is, in very simple words, which I have been repeating. Information technology must be in alignment with business. Very, very important.